Today I'm going to be walking you through an example course that I have served as the lead instructional designer on. To give a little bit of a background on this course, it is from the Bachelor's in Psychology program within the Leavitt School of Health. This course was one of the last courses students will take in a 19-course degree program. I, as the instructional designer for this program, as one of the instructional designers for this program, worked on 12 of the 19 courses, and I want to take a few minutes today to walk you through my role as the instructional designer for this course, and then also what it would look like for students as we're coming through. So I'm just going to walk you through in our LMS what role I had, and this is the student-friendly version that you are seeing of the live course. So this course is where students will land. So this is what the LMS looks like. So they have industrial and organizational psychology. My role as the instructional designer, I'm going to be walking you just through tidbits today, was to come up with these banners. Students receive a course introduction that is embedded within the course. They go over the main competencies that serve as the anchor for this course. This is a competency-based course, so students will show mastery of these competencies in order to receive a passing score in this course. They're given examples of learning resources. And then this main page that they land on also goes over all of the sections that they will have. You can think of a section as it relates to other learning management systems. It would equate to a module. And then within each section, you will see multiple lessons, and there are sub-lessons that I like to think of as pages, essentially. So again, section would be a module, multiple lessons, and then once we get into the nitty-gritty of it, we'll see multiple pages in there. Then students also see the different assessments. I was responsible for coming up with formative lesson quizzes with the subject matter experts, or SMEs, and also coming up with self-checking section tests and objective assessments for this course. Alrighty, we can see that when students hit that next button, my role was again to come up with the banners. I helped write the content here for this introduction to get students ready for the course. One of the ways that we helped students organize their learning in this course was to come up with an advanced organizer for every section in this course. It goes over what the key points of the section are, and then what each one of those lessons would be. My role here was to come up with what each one of these would be, not only the lesson titles, the page titles, but what were the key concepts we wanted to put on here, and then also come up with this graphic itself. One thing that you'll notice as I show you the graphics, there's continuity in the fonts used, as well as the color schemes as they align with the university. My role also was to create alt text to make sure it is ADA accessible and to come up with image descriptions so that screen readers can read all of this. There is also the tie back to students' competence and how they're going to use these skills that are embedded within this course in the real world. So I am going to lead us through a little bit here on the left pane. Instead of using the next button, I can come through and take a look at some of these. So again, we are within section 1. Here we have, let's go to lesson 1.1, where students will also receive a quick little overview. My role here was coming up with this one sentence overview of the material that would be on this page. I also made sure that it looks visually appealing to students, where we have consistency in the different section parts of the page here, so that we have headers here, so that students also have continuity in what they are reading. One thing we have done for this program is we have used icons and then bolded what the student will actually do with the action, so that they know a little learning cue. Okay, here's what I'm going to get myself ready to do. And then my role was also to come up with the framing text in here, which guides students to what they will actually be reading in here. So it says they are going to be reading this section from this course. these sections from this course, and then that will then load in a separate link where we have the guidance that it is loading in a new tab, and students will be reading these following sections. Some of the QAing I did was to make sure that all of these links that are now live for students do indeed end where we would like them. So this is section 1-1, and we want them to read Introduction to IO Psychology, major fields, those sorts of things. So that is bringing us to the textbook. So here we have the major fields, and that's just an example of how they would navigate that. Another role I have here we have the watch icon. I am in charge of making sure that all of these are written in consistent formats with our style guide, and also have timestamps. We embedded videos within these, and then within each in each one they have the key terms there and references that are aligned with APA 7. Down here we have a lesson summary, which is what they have learned within this specific lesson. So it's just a self-checking and then next steps here. Also, each one of these has quizzes. My role here was to make sure that the quizzes were brief enough that they aligned with the topic that was covered in that lesson, and then also collaborating with my SMEs to make sure that they actually did have the correct answers and what have you in there. So that we could reset the question and just come through here. So again, that's just self-checking within the LMS that students have. I also did want to show after every section, we have a little brief summary that will go over each one of the lessons in there. So again, my role here is making sure that this indeed did match with all of the lessons that were in that section. And then also the section test. The section test is directly aligned with that objective assessment, and it also relates them back to the competency that they're going to see on that summative assessment. And then the students come through here and they have this self-checking assessment through here. I'm also going to open up, I'm just going to keep things brief today and move on just to show a few other examples of things that I have helped create in this course. Again, let's come down here to stress management. We'll see some different things within the LMS, highlighting key terms that are in there that we really wanted to hone in on for students. Here is another infographic that I have created for this, and we'll see how these help learners really identify the key content that they're pulling out of those textbook readings, kind of as a study aid. Another thing is to take content that was in the textbook, but it was a little bit too in-depth. So my role was to take that content and make it into a more manageable way for students to understand it. So we created a table here, and students can also still interact with this content in the textbook as well. And then another one I wanted to show you all is an example of a video that I worked on, where this is making a specific video that contains information that is not in the text, but can also be assessed. And here is an example of what that looks like. I'm just going to hop through it. And one thing that you'll notice is there's consistent colorings in the video and those infographics that I highlighted earlier. We made sure that all of these videos have transcripts with them, so the students are making sure they are able to see the video, that it loads correctly in the content learning platform. So my role also was to create those transcripts as well. And let's see. Another example I wanted to show was just the integration of not only were there videos that I worked on creating myself, but also linking out to other resources that could increase the level of engagement and then get students out of the textbook with videos like from LinkedIn Learning or courses that we could integrate in there. So I just wanted to walk you all through an example of a course that I have worked on and a few of the different things that I have been responsible as the instructional designer for creating in this course. And again, this is working with those subject matter experts and getting it into the learning management system so that students can interact with it and be on their way to completing their degree program.